What would you do if your own mother's excitement for her first grandchild turned into a source of intense stress for your pregnant wife, who was already terrified after a previous tragedy? In today's story, one husband's decision to protect his wife at all costs puts his entire family to the test. My name is Liam, I'm 33 years old, and my wife, Chloe, is currently 7 months pregnant with our daughter. The first time she was pregnant, she tragically went into premature labor and had a stillbirth. It was an absolutely devastating experience for both of us, but the toll it took on my sweet wife is impossible to put into words. She's finally, cautiously, getting excited about this pregnancy, but a part of her is still terrified to get her hopes up in case something goes wrong again. She asks me several times a day if I think something will happen and has been plagued by nightmares about having another stillbirth. Thankfully, her doctor says everything is going perfectly so far, and I have a deep confidence that everything will be okay this time. My wife and I are from the same town, but we now live about a 9-hour drive from our families. Our current plan is for Chloe's mother to drive up once my wife goes into labor. She's going to be there to support Chloe during the birth and will stay for a week or so after to help us get settled with the new baby. Chloe was very clear about one thing: she doesn't want any visitors aside from her mom for the first few weeks after our daughter is born. She specifically told me she wants my family to visit a few weeks later and even said my parents could stay in our guest room to get more quality time with their granddaughter, but only once we're all ready for visitors. All I want is for this process to go as smoothly as possible for Chloe, especially in light of what she went through. I'm 100% behind whatever plan makes her feel the most comfortable. Yesterday, I got a call from my mom, Brenda. After some pleasantries, she asked about the birth plan. I explained our arrangement, and she immediately said that she and my dad, Mark, would be driving up as soon as Chloe goes into labor. She didn't push for the delivery room, but she said they'd be in the waiting room to meet their granddaughter the moment she arrived. She added that they'd just get a hotel nearby so they could spend time with the baby once she's home. I gently told my mom that while we're excited for them to meet the baby, we'd prefer if they could wait a few weeks until we're settled. Her tone immediately shifted. She said that Chloe's mother is coming right after the birth, so she doesn't understand why she can't be there too. Brenda's reaction at that moment, rooted in what she felt was her right as a grandmother, set a collision course. She was completely unaware that her inability to see past her own feelings would threaten the very relationship she was so desperate to have. I explained that my mother-in-law is coming specifically to support Chloe during labor and to help her recover physically and emotionally afterward. I added, "Mom, Chloe obviously feels more comfortable with her own mother. She doesn't feel the pressure to have the house spotless and be the perfect hostess when her mom is here." I also stressed that we want them to get a lot of quality time with the baby, and we have no idea how Chloe will be feeling immediately after the birth. That's when my mom started rambling about how the boy's mom always gets the short end of the stick and how everyone should be included in major family milestones. The irony of this was almost comical. My younger sister, Stacy, had her first baby about 6 months ago. She can't stand her mother-in-law, and to this day, she still hasn't given her the green light to come visit the baby. My own mother, Brenda, has consistently justified this, saying Stacy's mother-in-law is rude and difficult, and while that may be true, my sister holds grudges and doesn't get along with most people. I decided to call her on it. "Mom, why are you okay with Stacy keeping her baby away from her MIL for 6 months if you believe everyone should be included?" She was furious. She sputtered that there was more to that situation than I realized and that this was completely different because she's always been perfectly nice to Chloe. I asked what I was missing, and all she could come up with was that my sister's MIL had supposedly ruined her bridal shower by bringing some obnoxious friends. I brought the focus back. Regardless of that situation, I said, I want to make this experience as stress-free as possible for Chloe, given what happened last time. I told her I loved her and that we would absolutely make sure she gets plenty of time with her granddaughter. She seemed disappointed, but I truly thought she understood. As one commenter put it, I was doing exactly what I was supposed to do. I was supporting my wife and putting her first. That's called being a good husband. A few hours later, Chloe came to me, looking pale and stressed. She told me my mother had called her. She said Brenda was crying on the phone, saying she felt excluded and that it seemed like we didn't want her to meet her own granddaughter. Chloe is a sweetheart and a people pleaser, and she took this completely to heart. Her voice trembled as she asked me if we were doing the right thing. This move revealed Brenda's greatest fatal flaw, her belief that her feelings trumped everyone else's well-being. By prioritizing her own sense of exclusion over her daughter-in-law's fragile mental state, she sealed her own fate. One person watching this unfold would later say they might have had a tiny bit of sympathy for my mother, until she called my wife after I had already laid down the rules. She tried to emotionally blackmail her. Seeing the stress on Chloe's face, my blood began to boil. I reassured her that I wanted her to feel as comfortable as possible and that I would handle my mom from now on. The additional stress is the last thing Chloe needs right now, as she's already battling her own fears daily. I called my mother back immediately. My voice was cold and steady. "If you call Chloe about this situation again," I said, pausing to let the weight of my words sink in, "you will not get to see the baby for 2 months after she is born." I then added, "And I will add another month to that wait for every single call you make to her after this." I might have framed it as a half joke, but I was deadly serious that she could not, under any circumstances, continue to put this stress on my wife. Brenda was aghast, saying we were excluding her and my father and that they raised me better than this. A short while later, my dad called. He told me I was wrong to give my mom an ultimatum and was punishing her just for expressing her feelings. He accused me of using my child as a form of control. I calmly explained that I desperately want them to have a good relationship with my kid, but my absolute, non-negotiable priority right now is protecting my wife from any extra stress. My dad insisted I owe my mother an apology for the ultimatum. I completely disagree. This story is a powerful lesson in setting boundaries and prioritizing the well-being of your partner and new family, even when it means making difficult choices with the people who raised you. When it comes to major life events like childbirth, where is the line between a grandparent's excitement and a new parent's need for peace? Let us know what you think in the comments below.